Hello and welcome to a special edition of Buckeye TV. I'm Olivia Rust.
I'm Tavian Whitehurst.
Today we are covering the Ohio State football season as we head into a highly anticipated playoff season.
But first, let's recap the 2019 regular season. Ohio State has finished the regular season with a 12-0 record, making the 2019 season the 11th time OSU has gone undefeated since the football program began back in 1890. OSU dominated the field all season with sophomore quarterback Justin Fields and junior defensive end Chase Young leading the pack. Fields, an unknown going into the season, outperformed every team that was on the schedule, leading OSU to a victory by a margin of 24 points or more in all 12 games that were played this season.
Some of the most watched games of the season included those against Maryland, Penn State, and that team up north. Let's start off with the matchup between the Buckeyes and the Terrapins. OSU swiftly defeated Maryland with a score of 73-14. Fields passed for over 200 yards and alone had 3 touchdowns of the game. And Master T stepping in for Chase Young during his 3-game suspension with 111 rushing yards.
OSU defeated Penn State with a score of 28-17 with 229 rushing yards and over 188 passing yards. J.K. Dobbins led the team in rushing with 157 yards and Fields passing for only 188 yards.
And finally, we have the infamous rivalry between the Buckeyes and the Wolverines. The rivalry was on full display as the annual campus-wide campaign to remove the letter M happened swiftly the night leading into the Sunday that kicked off Michigan Week. Although the rivalry was strong, Ohio State's student newspaper, The Lantern, and Michigan's own, The Michigan Daily, decided to collaborate and release a special edition rivalry section released the Tuesday before the big game. The game kicked off in Ann Arbor, and OSU dominated the entire game, winning with a final score of 56-27, making this the 8th year in a row that OSU has defeated that team up north. Ohio State had an impressive 313 passing yards and over 264 rushing yards throughout the game. Justin Fields threw for 302 passing yards, and J.K. Dobbins once again led the field with over 211 rushing yards.
It has definitely been an exciting season with the Bucs scoring a combined 599 points across all 12 games. Fields is finishing off the season with an amazing stats. As a sophomore, Fields has a combined total of 2,953 yards, 40 touchdowns, and just 1 interception to his name this season. When we return, we'll look at what's ahead, including recapping the Big Ten Championship, Heisman predictions, and playoff rankings. We'll be right back.
The Big Ten Championship game took place on Saturday, December 7th in Indianapolis, Indiana. And boy, what a game it was. OSU was dominated by the Wisconsin Badgers early on in the game, with the score being 21-7 going into halftime. The first half saw Wisconsin score 21 points early on. We don't know what was said in the locker room, but boy did it work. OSU later exploded onto the field, scoring over 27 of their total 34 points in the last half of the game, keeping Wisconsin scoreless as the clock ran out, leaving OSU as reigning champions for the 3rd year in a row.
Another big event happening in December is the Heisman Trophy ceremony on December 14th. The finalists were announced on Monday on ESPN, and both Justin Fields and Chase Young being 2 of the 4 finalists. The other 2 finalists include Joe Burrow of LSU and Jalen Hurst of Oklahoma. Best of luck to our Buckeyes, past and present, going to the event.
Ryan Day has a lot more than an undefeated season to be proud of, as his first year of being head coach at OSU comes to a wrap. Day was recently named as the Big Ten Coach of the Year. Day is the first OSU coach to have this honor since Earl Bruce in 1979. Previous OSU coaches, John Cooper, Jim Tressel, not even Urban Meyer, were given this honor. Many OSU coaches have been glossed over, as the Coach of the Year award is usually given to a coach whose team had unexpected success, and Ohio State is a program where success is expected.
Ryan Day wasn't the only person from Ohio State to get recognition from the Big Ten. Both Justin Fields and Chase Young claimed the conference's Player of the Year awards. Ohio State also claimed the Defensive and Offensive Players of the Year. With these recognitions, Ohio State holds the Coach of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and Offensive Player of the Year for the first time since the Big Ten debuted the Player of the Year award in 1990.
And speaking of outstanding players, Chase Young is expected to be drafted into the NFL at the end of the season when the draft happens on April 23, 2020. The most recent mock drafts from Fox Sports puts Young being drafted by either the Cincinnati Bengals if he is the number 1 pick, or the New York Giants if he is the number 2 pick.
With the regular season behind us, OSU now shifts its focus as we look down the road to the national championship. When we come back, we'll talk about the playoff rankings and whether OSU can make it to the final round.
It's official. The Week 15 college football playoff rankings have been released, and the top 4 ranking teams are not exactly what we thought they would be.
At number 4 is Oklahoma with a 12-1 record after losing to Kansas State in October.
At number 3 is Clemson with a 13-0 record.
But where does that leave OSU? OSU's been rumored to be the number 1 spot for weeks now after defeating team after team, but was given the number 2 spot to none other than Louisiana.
With the rankings solidified, this means that number 2 OSU will face off against number 3 Clemson at the Fiesta Bowl in Glendale, Arizona on December 28th.
The winner will then take on the winner of the Peach Bowl, who will either be number 1 LSU or number 4 Oklahoma.
So, Tavian, what do you think the championship's going to look like in New Orleans?
You know, I'm really thinking it's going to be Ohio State. You know, Clemson has been a really dominant team in the SEC for the past couple years now, but if we were ever going to do it, now's the time.
I agree. I think this is the strongest team that OSU has seen thus far, and I would really like to see OSU go head-to-head against past Buckeye Joe Burrow. So I'm OSU versus LSU.
Well, then let's get it.
Let us know what you think by tweeting our Twitter account at BuckeyeTV19. We'll be right back. With OSU going to the playoffs, tickets will soon go on sale. According to OhioStateBuckeyes.com, tickets can range anywhere from $110 to $450. Those interested in buying tickets can do so by going to the website. You can click the link posted in our social media pages. Do you plan on going to the game, Tavian?
You know, honestly, I really wish I could, but it's really far away. It's going to be right after Christmas, so I do want to be with my family, but I will be glued to my screen making sure the Buckeyes catch this dub.
Absolutely. I would obviously love to see OSU take home a win, but it is kind of far.
Alrighty, that's all we have for you on this edition of Buckeye TV. Tune in next time as we get ready to recap and highlight the playoff season. We look forward to seeing you back here as we celebrate a championship win in 2020. Have a great holiday, and
OH!
IO.